Spiders the size of your cat? Parks going up in flames within seconds? And you, suddenly a superhuman who doesn't even need coffee in the morning. Sounds like a pretty mixed bag, right? On one hand, more energy, more endurance, and the feeling like someone just handed your body a set of cheat codes. On the other, fire, oxygen poisoning, and spiders that apparently got the cheat codes too. But here's the scary part. We don't even have to make this up. This has already happened in Earth's history. So the question isn't what happens if we get more oxygen. The real question is, what if it happens again?
I could feel that something had changed. I just couldn't quite put my finger on what. I woke up with this weird burst of energy. No coffee, no workout, just bam, instant energy. I'd never felt anything like it before.
Every breath felt amazing. Like you're standing in some tropical rainforest with unbelievably clean air. Except, you're on a busy city street.
I literally felt like Captain Marvel. I wanted to take on the whole world, and I never wanted that feeling to go away.
Today, about 21% of Earth's atmosphere is oxygen. Now, imagine waking up one morning and finding out it's suddenly 42%. You wouldn't just breathe easier. For the first few hours, it might feel incredible. Your brain is working faster, your endurance is through the roof, you could run a marathon and barely break a sweat. Athletes start smashing world records, and that morning exhaustion? Gone without a trace. You literally feel like a superhuman. Congratulations! You've just entered the world of hyperoxia. Of course, there's a tiny catch. And by tiny, I mean not exactly tiny. Unfortunately, there's a price. Hyperoxia, in simple terms, is oxygen toxicity. When there's too much oxygen around, reactive oxygen species, basically free radicals, start building up rapidly inside your cells. Think of them as tiny molecular wrecking balls. They damage cell membranes, mess with your DNA, and trigger massive oxidative stress. So basically, Earth is looking at you and saying, you wanted more oxygen, sure, but are you really sure you're gonna like what comes next? You start getting dizzy, your vision gets weird, and prolonged exposure to this atmosphere can damage your lung tissue and central nervous system. Basically, your body stops appreciating its shiny new upgrade pretty damn quickly and starts dropping hints that maybe 42% oxygen is a little excessive. To survive in this world without serious health consequences, humans and other mammals would have to slow their breathing and over time go through some serious adaptation. On the other hand, medicine would run into one hell of a paradox. Small cuts, scrapes, and wounds could heal dramatically faster. Flooding tissues with oxygen could boost cell division and the growth of new blood vessels, the kind of thing surgeons once could only dream about. World sports would become completely pointless. Anti-doping agencies like WADA might as well close up shop. Why hunt for performance-enhancing drugs when the atmosphere itself has decided to hand everyone a natural energy boost? Old world records would look pretty embarrassing. But this medical bonus comes with a catch. While your cuts are healing in a matter of hours on the outside, your cells are wearing themselves down faster on the inside. So it's a pretty terrible deal. You get superpowers right now, and pay for them with years of your future life. Basically, the human body finally got a cheat code. Too bad the cheat code comes with a subscription to accelerated aging. But there will be others who absolutely love this new world, and unlike our superpowers, theirs won't fade over time. They'll get stronger, and this is where things get really interesting. Insect. If you hate spiders, beetles, and centipedes, I've got some bad news for you. Although, after this, you might start looking at them with a little more respect, or at least from a much greater distance. Insects don't have lungs in the way we do. They breathe through a network of tiny tubes called tracheae, which deliver oxygen directly to their tissues. In our world, insect size is limited in part by the amount of oxygen available. Make a beetle the size of a dog, and its tracheal system simply wouldn't be able to move enough oxygen through that massive body. It would suffocate, but when oxygen levels hit 42%, that limitation starts to disappear. And this is where we have a slight problem, because evolution suddenly gets to ask, okay, but what if we made them bigger? Now, don't panic. You're not going to wake up tomorrow morning to a giant cockroach the size of a Great Dane knocking on your window. That's not how evolution works. This won't happen overnight, or in a week, or even in a year. But give it centuries. Let a few generations come and go, and some of those biological limits could start to break down. And we could once again see creatures that already lived on Earth around 300 million years ago. Meganeura, ancient relatives of modern dragonflies with wingspans approaching 3 feet. Arthropleura, giant, meter-long millipedes that once crawled through prehistoric forests. And yes, over time, evolution could potentially push beetles and spiders toward the size of a well-fed house cat. Because apparently, regular-sized spiders just weren't terrifying enough for nature. Insects could become the true kings of this high-oxygen world. And that familiar routine, spot a bug, grab a shoe, would suddenly stop working. You wouldn't be chasing them with a shoe anymore. You'd be running from them. There's another group that might actually thrive in this new world, plants. But it's not quite that simple. With higher oxygen levels, vegetation wouldn't necessarily become twice as green, but some ecosystems could become much denser and more productive. Picture a forest that's basically trying to take over everything around it. Thick canopies, dense undergrowth, vines, and plants pushing through wherever there used to be no room for them. Sounds beautiful. Until you remember, there's now 42% oxygen in the atmosphere, because oxygen doesn't just keep things alive. It also makes combustion much more efficient, and at concentrations this high, the entire planet becomes a much more dangerous place. Fire could spread so fast that people might not even have time to realize what's happening. A cigarette butt tossed onto the side of the road could turn a city park into a giant bonfire within seconds. A spark from a train wheel hitting the rails could instantly ignite dry grass. And going out for a barbecue? Well, let's just say the grill has suddenly become the most dangerous weekend activity on the planet. At 42% oxygen, fire becomes one of the rulers of Earth, right alongside the insects, obviously. So nature gets to show off its incredible sense of irony. First, we grow massive forests. Then we create the perfect conditions to burn them down. Ecological balance? No thanks. We're playing a whole new game now. Who can set everything on fire first? But fire is only the visible part of the problem. A high-oxygen world would change pretty much everything. How you sleep, what you eat, how your pets behave, and even how long your car is expected to survive. Let's start with sleep. Forget about getting a solid 8 hours. With increased nervous system activity and a constant surplus of energy, your brain might simply refuse to switch into power off and forget everything mode. You're lying in bed. Your body is exhausted. Your eyes are closed. And your brain goes, "Hey, want to replay every embarrassing thing you did in 2014? Insomnia becomes a new global problem, because apparently humanity really needed one more reason to stare at the ceiling at 3 a.m. Now, food. At 42% oxygen, food, especially fats and oils, would oxidize much faster. They'd go rancid and spoil sooner, which means your regular refrigerator might not be enough anymore. Eventually, your fridge might need to become more like an airtight vault with reduced oxygen levels. Because before, you opened the fridge and thought, what should I eat today? Now the question becomes, okay, what in here hasn't turned into a chemistry experiment yet? And then there are your pets. Changes in metabolism could make dogs and cats more active and restless. Their bodies process oxygen differently, so their behavior and energy needs could change too. Your sweet little cat, who normally curls up peacefully on your lap, suddenly becomes a furry internal combustion engine. It wants food, then more food, then it sprints around the apartment, and then it looks at you like you're the one who's been managing its nutrition completely wrong. But the planet isn't done messing with us yet. Infrastructure changes too. Remember that oxygen is an oxidizer? Well, congratulations. Rust is now your new best enemy. Iron structures, bridges, cars, and overpasses would corrode much faster. Things that used to last for decades would suddenly need a lot more protection from corrosion. But hey, there's some good news. The atmosphere would become slightly denser, making it easier for airplanes to stay aloft. Birds could also fly faster while using less energy. Sounds great, right? Well, there's always a catch. Propellers and turbines would face more resistance and greater loads, which means flying would become more complicated and more expensive. Airfare? Even the atmosphere just decided to raise its prices. Welcome to the world of 42% oxygen. So, what's the bottom line here? Is doubling Earth's oxygen an evolutionary cheat code or a straight-up one-way ticket to disaster? On one hand, you've got insane stamina, full-on Marvel superhero vibes, lush, massive forests, and a body running at peak efficiency, at least at first. On the other hand, you've got a planet where a fire can start out of thin air, your cells age and fast-forward, infrastructure literally crumbles, and giant, God forbid, spiders are casually chilling on your living room wall. So yeah, you get superpowers, but the terms and conditions are strictly in the fine print. Luckily, you can take a deep breath and chill. In the real world, a sudden spike like this is practically impossible. The atmosphere is a crazy complex system that Earth has been fine-tuning for billions of years. So relax, take it easy, and just breathe. You don't need an oxygen upgrade. Regular-sized cockroaches are already more than enough, thank you so much. And I think we'll leave it at that. Think it couldn't get any wilder? Imagine looking up one morning, and the sun is gone. What's next? Total darkness, starvation, deep space freeze. Find out in the next episode. Drop a subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll catch you there.